said, hello. And he said, hey kid, you want a job? I said, I already got a job. I work for you. And don't worry about that writing stuff. We can get anybody to do that. You got some talent. So I started on this trip of radio. Imagine this for a second. I'm in grade 10. And I've got my own radio show. 5 nights a week, 6 to midnight, playing all the music that I love. And I got to tell you, I still love that music. Late 60s, early 70s. You can just love it. So I'm playing for 2.5, 3 years, and all of a sudden, I quit. And I have to quit because, well, I graduated. I wasn't in school anymore, and I had to do something with my life. So I quit and went to university, taught school for a couple of years. That was fun. Well, the teaching part was fun. But I decided pretty quickly on that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. I love working with the kids. That was tremendous. But, there's all that other stuff that teachers have to do that they all hate to do, and I hated to do. I didn't want to do that. And I realized I was young enough to start over again. So I came up with a plan. It was a great 1-year plan. The plan was go home and figure it out. And my parents were very generous. They said, sure, you can have your bedroom back again. And when I got back to town, I wandered in and said hi to the folks at the radio station. And would you believe it or not, absolutely true, they were looking for somebody to do the evening rock and roll show. And I'm standing there like this. So, took the job. 6 months in, program director from another radio station called, slightly larger market, a little more money. He said, we'd like you to come out and work with us. Do you want to be part of the team? And I said, bigger audience, more money? Sure, I could do that. I did that 4 times during my career. The last was probably the most incredible choice I've ever made in my life. Wound up at a radio station that was truly one of the most interesting, wonderful radio stations ever created. It was in Ottawa, and we spent 25 years there. And we've come home now, and it's nice to be here. My family's here, my son's here, my new granddaughter's here. You know what? You know how everybody says their granddaughter is the most beautiful girl on the planet? Mine really is. I just want you to know that. So, radio is a lot different than most people perceive it to be. It's a lot of work. A lot of people think, hey, he's on the air for 4 hours a day, and what else does he do all day? Another 4 hours of work preparing for the 4 hours, right? That's what happens. So, what I did in my preparation, I didn't have a lot of money at the time. I went out and I bought one of those Hilroy exercise notebooks that we had when we... Anybody else have one of those things? How much time have I got? Oh good, you forgot to start the clock. This is great. Okay, seriously, she stopped. Tell me that's not going up. Okay, good. Thank you. I got it. She forgot to turn it back on. Yeah, so... Where was I? ADD, sorry. Hilroy exercise book, right. And because you need to be informative, you need to be inventive, you need to be humorous if you're going to be on the radio. And people don't understand, that's live for 4 hours a day, 6 hours a day, it's all live. And you can't just do one, because tomorrow, the people that are listening today are still going to be listening, you can't do the same show again. It's all got to be brand new. So I started keeping these things in my Hilroy exercise book, and they got... one got filled, so I brought another one, and another one, another one. As I went through the years, I went through a whole bunch of books, and I still have them all, every single one of them. Nobody reads them other than me. I don't let that happen. Maybe someday I'll let the kids read them. Stuff in there that I did, that I wanted to do on the radio. And of course, those books kept changing as well. Because after a while, I got a little more money, and I was a little embarrassed that I had a whole bunch of Hilroy notebooks there, because I looked like a dork. And so I started buying books. And this is the most recent one that I purchased. It was a very expensive empty book. It's leather wrapped, and it's got gold edges on the paper, and it has a built-in thing that holds your page for you. All that kind of stuff. People ask me why I buy books like that. Why would you buy an expensive book that didn't have any information inside it? To get me to understand within myself that it's time to get out and find something worthwhile putting in this book. So, radio people have gotten very inventive for the reasons that we talked about just a couple of minutes ago. And those people, radio folks, I have greatest deal of respect for, because they really are a reflection on the community. They really are people that get deeply into the fabric. And can turn anything into a bit. Let me give you a couple of examples. The first one, perhaps, and you can, hey, that went from 9 minutes to 4 in about 30 seconds. How the hell did you do that?
10 hours.
10 hours? Hunker in, guys, we're going to be here for a while. So, where was I? I'm serious, where was I?
Give you an example.
Oh, I was going to give you an example. Yeah, absolutely. There are different ways you can get information to use when you're on the radio. There's books to read. There's magazines. There's newspapers. It's a lot easier now because there's the internet. You can just Google things. You want to know who the lead singer of Johnny Banana and the Bunch was. You like that?
Good name.
I'm tired. I'm sorry. So, looking for information can come from a whole bunch of different sources. The world around you. Has anybody here other than me seen this new television ad? It's a woman on a bicycle. You seen this thing? And she starts taking her bike across the front of the television set, and it shows her town name as she's passing by. And the town name is Keister. I'm not kidding you. Now, some people would have walked by that and said to themselves, I have no idea what that is and I'm not interested. Some people might have watched for a few minutes and then said, I don't need that product. You know what I thought? What if there really was a town called Keister? So I looked it up. No, there isn't. There's no town called Keister, but in Arkansas there's a town called Backside. And worse than that, there's a town called Bum. And we're just going to leave that where it sits. Come on, that was creative. You can get information from things that you're part of and that happen to you as well. And people love to hear those stories. And I'm going to kind of wrap things up a little bit with this tonight. And that is, not long ago, our eldest son decided that he was finally going to marry a lady he'd been with for a number of years now. She's a delight, and we love her, both my wife and I. And we were honored by being able to do the banquet the evening before the wedding. And we got dressed up, and it was just a gorgeous night out, absolutely beautiful. We drove towards the restaurant, my wife and I, got out of the car, walked down the street holding hands together. We do that a lot. That's pretty good for a guy who's been married for 38 years, isn't it? Don't clap for me, clap for her. I'm not the easiest guy on the planet to work with, or to live with. She'll tell you. But anyway, I'm there, holding her hand, and we're walking down to the restaurant. And it was just one of those moments, that you have if you're truly in love with somebody. And I just stopped and I turned and I gave her a kiss on the cheek. And this woman had been walking behind us. And she scooted right out in front of us and she looked at us and she said, "You two are adorable." And I went and I sat down in the restaurant, and when we got home, I wrote in my book, you can see it here, how the hell old do you have to be before they start calling you adorable? I'm going to ask you, and before I wrap up tonight, because my 10 minutes is down to 60 seconds. Hey, pretty good for stealing time, right? Let me ask you to do a favor for me. Can I get everybody just to turn your chairs slightly towards the stage? Can you do that for starters? This is good. Thank you, I appreciate that. Now, I want you to sit straight up, both feet flat on the floor, far forward in the chair as you can make it, back straight, and just kind of stay there exactly. Oh, guys, take a look for me, will you? I just want, everybody's got this? Picture locked into their mind? Okay, you can relax now. The reason I asked you to do that is that I can guarantee you when I get home after this, that my son in Montreal is going to call, and he's going to say, "How'd the gig go tonight, Dad?" And I can truthfully say, I had them on the edge of their seats.